So if I don't like what's being said here, I'll just let
give all the power. You'll be like, permission not granted anymore. I guess.
yeah. Oh, didn't like that question. All
All
right.
right, get started. Hey, I am Mark Ryan, and today we got a guest with us, and it is Pastor David Clayson, pastor out in North Dakota. And we went to Bible college together way back in the day. And so, any thoughts, David?
No. I think we went to college my freshman year, his senior year. So we were there for about a year. He was my RA on the floor, and yeah, no, it was good. So that's how we made that connection there.
A lot of good times, yeah. And so we're doing a collaboration video. The first part of it is on my channel or his channel, depending on how you look at it. And then the second one will be on the other channel. So be sure to check out each of the videos. I'll put a link in the description so that you can see the one on his channel. But with that, let's get started. So one of the things at college actually was dodgeball. We do dodgeball from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
And you're pretty good at playing dodgeball and everything. But today I thought you'd dodge some questions instead. So
hey, let's get some context to that, shall we? So we recorded the video for my channel first, and I was asking him all these questions. You can go over and watch it. He beat around the bush. He did not dive into the bush on a lot of them.
Give us some men who know the truth.
Anyways.
Yeah. And so here's the thing. With the election around the corner, I thought we'd start with the pastor's role in politics. And so I thought, hey, let's just try to get as many people mad as we can, right?
Yeah.
But, yeah. But I say that kind of jokingly because when you talk about politics and you're, especially when you're a pastor and you have a lot of responsibility placed on your shoulders and everything, there has to be a lot of just discernment, a lot of wisdom because you're kind of playing with dynamite. If you haven't noticed in this country right now, politics, everyone's got their opinion. If they follow politics, a lot of people do. And it can just cause a fight or an explosion if we're not careful over it. And so before we started, though, I thought I'd just read this quote. It is from Paul Washer. And it says, I can't stand it when Christians have more hope in their political party than they do in the glorious resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ. And so I think as Christians, we don't want to lose focus for sure. I should be more passionate about Jesus Christ than politics. And I think that's one of those guardrails that can save us from division, save us from struggles as a Christian. Any thoughts on that?
No, I agree. I just want to actually start out by asking, so Mark, how's life?
Well, we might have to talk about that a little bit. We used to have a competition. I don't even know how it got started. I always say I'm really bad at starting conversations. So I would start every conversation at college. So how's life? And eventually it became a competition to see who could say it first. And I beat, David all the time. And then he beat me, maybe once a year or 5 years or so. And so there's a story behind that.
Yes. It's been a while. I think it's been a few years. I just won it. I just won.
I can think of, let's just go into it actually. Our first topic, actually. Here's the first topic. And don't dodge these. Don't squirm too much, right? Okay. So politics and the pastor. How deep should a pastor get into politics with the church?
So what I have done, I have never, so I've been pastoring for 6 years now. There was one at a church when I was in college that I did like pulpit supply. And then I've been at my current place going on 6 years this coming summer. In that time, we've gone through one other election already, and then we're about to go through another one. I have never endorsed a politician from the pulpit. And there's a few reasons for that. The first one is I don't feel like politics. This is a complex question. I don't feel like politics really belong in the pulpit, but then you got certain issues that do, like abortion or like the past 4 years or something where homosexuality was legalized in the United States, stuff like that I do address from the pulpit, but I don't endorse politicians. I think the closest I've ever come is at the last election. It was between Hillary and Trump. If you didn't know that, you should know that though. And what I did, the sermon I did the Sunday before the election, I simply said, whoever wins, God is still in control. That was the theme of the sermon. And that got people mad because they thought I was throwing weight to one party or the next. And for me, you know, I'm in North Dakota, and North Dakota, I think since it's been like 50, 60, 70 years since we've voted anything other than Republican. There are some Democrats sitting in the congregation, not because of anything other than the Democrats have a better policy for farmers, and we're in a big farming community. They have a better policy for farmers than Republicans do. So that's why they see themselves as Democratic. But for me personally, I don't think politics really belongs in the pulpit. I think there are some political issues or issues that have become political that need to be addressed from the pulpit. But overall, I think the focus should be on God and his word.
Okay, so here's the question. What are some areas of concerns that pastors deal with on the issue? Because just me thinking about it, there can be division in the church over politics. We're seeing that right. Churches, I'm sure, are seeing that right now that's happening. And then on the other side, you know, if we want balance as Christians, as pastors, like we don't want to hide from issues, sweep them under the rug and think, hey, if we don't talk about it, maybe it'll just go away. Yeah. And so what are your thoughts on that?
I think the main thing, again, knowing that there are some Democrats in our congregation bringing division in that way, it is such, just in today's world, it is such a polarizing issue that it is hard, no matter what side even if you try to go right, be moderate right down the line where you won't make someone mad. And that's not, you know, we're not, it's not our job to care what people think. We're supposed to just preach the word of God. But like I said, what that message before where I was saying God's in control no matter who wins the election, that got people mad. And yeah, I don't know. I think I'd just be restating what I've already said on my thoughts on that. So
well, let's get you in trouble. I mean, as long as you've been in trouble before.
Thanks. I'm not sharing this video to my Facebook page, by the way.
Yeah, some more direct questions for you and stuff. Should a pastor preach? I thought of this one. I think it's a great question. Should a pastor preach a sermon wearing a MAGA hat?
I think that falls back to, I don't think you should endorse any politician from the pulpit. So no.
So no, and I would just say no hats in church. So you got to take it off, right? That's the easy way out.
I'm trying to think. I think maybe they do. I think there's some that wear hats in our church, but I have not seen a MAGA hat or a shirt or anything like that. So
okay, yeah.
But yeah, no endorsing, and that would be, I think, to me, that'd be endorsing from the pulpit. So
from the pulpit, and I would say,
it is also for our 401c3. It is also illegal or against the rules to do that.
The 501c3, yeah,
or whatever. I'm not the treasurer at our church, so
but yeah, they kind of look into that and everything. Yeah, my thoughts on that too, though, are something as simple as that. Maybe outside the church they're doing that, but that can bring unnecessary division into the church. And so pastors even have to think about those issues. And even if we're a Christian, we should even think about something like that. And I think at least think it through a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, outside the pulpit, like when I'm just meeting with congregation members too, I'm still being careful on what I say, but I am a little more open on what I believe politically. It's just that when you're speaking from the pulpit, people see that's authority there. You're speaking with authority from there. And so you have to be very careful because you don't want to speak authority into something that is not biblical or that is not godly. Otherwise you're going to have a little stone hung around your neck and dropped into the ocean type of thing. You know, you have to be careful in that way too. You know, you don't want to guide people falsely. And so, but when I'm not in the pulpit, I'm a little more free, talking about politics a little bit and stuff, you know, just one-on-one. So.
Yeah, I hear you there. I mean, when pastors in the pulpit, like we're preaching the words of God. And so we're not preaching our opinions and things like that. So we do have to be careful what we say for sure.
Yeah.
And here's the next question. We'll dodge this one. Should or can a pastor play like the I can't even talk today.
Star
We'll edit
Spangled
that.
Banner.
Yeah. During a church worship service.
Okay, so I'm on a ministerial association here in town that has Lutherans, Catholics, Episcopal, Presbyterians. And we do have a 4th of July service where we go and do an outdoor service in the park. And that is supposed to be like a patriotic service. And normally our main focus there is just thanking God for the religious freedom that we have here in the United States. That tends to be the theme. But I'm trying to remember back, and I don't think even in those services that we have played the Star Spangled Banner, to my knowledge, like to what I can remember. That said, in my opinion, if you're doing that during a service, you are worshiping not God's kingdom. You're worshiping a different kingdom, and that's not appropriate.
So you're saying no, basically. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I would agree with that. I mean, like a church worship service, we're here to worship King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. And so our focus is on Christ, it's on God. And there's a time to be patriotic and a time for the Star Spangled Banner, but not during the worship service.
Yeah.
I would think. I don't even think that should be controversial at all.
Mm-hmm.
Should a pastor?
But it is, though. That's the thing.
But it is, yeah, and that can bring so much division, and we have to be super careful about that because even just saying, "Hey, you shouldn't play the Star Spangled Banner in a church service," I bet there's believers out there who could get upset about something like that.
Well, they put their patriotism above their Christianity, is what it is, and that's
a danger. It's a danger that we can fall into. Every Christian should reflect, hey, am I putting my patriotism over Christ, over Christianity? And so every Christian should wrestle through that issue too. And every pastor should wrestle through that issue as well. And you talked about this earlier, should a pastor endorse a certain political candidate for governor, for president, for local dog catcher? I mean, even on the just city level.
Yeah. I think in the most common term of endorse, no, but I think like it'd be fine if you shared who you were voting for. But I wouldn't say like go out and vote for this person type of thing. I don't even for myself, even like on those one-on-one conversations outside the pulpit, I wouldn't even do that. I would, if someone came to me and asked who they should vote for, I would say, well, read the Bible and pray about it. Like I wouldn't even give an answer on who to vote for. I want them to be guided by the Holy Spirit, not because you can allow your own personal opinions to enter even into that answer. And so, no, I don't think.
So that's between you and God.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Go from there.
Yeah.
Okay. And I would say, there's odd offers in life for two Christians, two pastors. They can make two different decisions. And so is it a matter of odd offer where a pastor could say, I'm for this candidate. I want to speak into it and I'm going to, and they're honoring God doing that. And another pastor makes a different decision saying, no, we're going to go 180 degree way different than that. We're not going to focus on politics really at all. I'm not going to endorse anyone at all. And so could a Christian or a pastor honor God and choose either, or is there one that's better than the other?
Okay, that's probably the first question that can get me in trouble.
Yeah. Oh, you'd be surprised, right?
Yeah. In my opinion, I don't think, especially from the pulpit, I don't think we should be endorsing candidates. And it is scary for the Christian church right now on how much division that is causing in the American church.
I mean, you say that, and I follow different groups, different people that talk about it. And there's some groups out there that are saying, hey, if you vote Democrat, you should be under church discipline. And then there's other groups that'll say, hey, if you vote Republican, if you vote for Trump, you should be under church discipline. And so there's all these different positions, and it's kind of like handling dynamite. If you're a pastor, you don't want to bring in division to God's church. And so I think, no Christian does or should want to. And so we have to, handle like we're handling dynamite. with a lot of care, a lot of praying, to God, and hey, what would you have me do here?
Yeah.
For sure. And not just, handle that dynamite with no care, like, oh yeah, just throwing it around, throwing politics and
Yeah.
stuff around it at a whim and everything too.
Yeah. Hold up. I got my, if you see me staring off in different directions, my cat is here. And so I want to make sure she doesn't get into the setup here. But yeah, I think one of the things to consider too is that where you live. For me, the reason I said that Trump savior complex and not necessarily like the other side of it, the Democratic side of it, is because I live in a very conservative community. We're in about a town of 900, and there are 2 Biden Harris signs in town, and the rest are Trump. So that just kind of gives you an idea of the political climate. And so that's what I've been coming up against. It's like,
And
I don't know.
that's something to even think of too, because you're in North Dakota, I'm in Montana, I'm in a rural place. I'm guessing you're in a pretty rural area too, in North Dakota. So not even big cities in Montana or North Dakota. And it's all, pretty biased, or our congregations are made up of basically Republicans overwhelmingly.
Yeah.
And so that's a different context. You're preaching to different Christians than, a church maybe in Atlanta, where there's more of a balance of the two and everything. And so we wrestle through that even.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
All right. Can a pastor organize a rally for a political candidate?
I think that goes back to endorsing, and I would say no, they shouldn't anyways. I can see them.
Let me help you out. Let me help you out a little bit here. I would say, me personally, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I was going to say, I can see a congregation member asking to use church facilities for a rally. And I mean, that comes up with a different can of worms there itself. I don't know how much of this I want to admit. FIFA, stop it. So we were working on a building project, and during the groundbreaking of a building project, one of the congregation members, let's see if I can turn this in. I'm so sorry. FIFA, come here.
That's fine.
Come here. Girl. This is my cat, everybody. She's chunky. She's well loved. Anyways, I'm gonna hold her for a sec here because she's causing a lot of issues back there. Anyways, so we had this groundbreaking for our building project, and there were some, normally for groundbreakings and stuff, you invite important figures to it, just to say speak and say, this is very encouraging for the community and stuff like that. We did have a couple politicians there, and they were not Democratic. They were Republican, and I think they said a word or two, but again, I think if a congregation member were to approach me and ask to have a rally at the church, I'm not sure what I would say. I'd have to pray about it.
And you can't go wrong that way, right? As a Christian, especially handling dynamite, I think sometimes, because this is an explosive issue. As a Christian, I like copping out from time to time. I like saying, hey, let me pray about it. Hey. And I think when we're handling dynamite like this, and politics are explosive, I mean, it divides families, it divides families even, parents with children. It'll cause division there. It'll divide co-workers and everything. And so when we're handling dynamite, we have to do it with the utmost care and everything.
I agree.
So there have been movements in the past where a Christian should have nothing to do with politics. That's what the movement will say. What do you think of that? Should a Christian have nothing to do with politics?
No, I think in their personal life, it's fine. But if it becomes an idol, like it can become an idol to them. If it becomes an idol to them, they need to step back. But I don't think it's not wrong to get into politics and research and have discussions about it. You just got to remember where your priorities are at, though, and what you're called to do. Like, you shouldn't let your political I don't want to call it an obsession, but political interest to affect your witness to those that don't serve the Lord around you. So just, you got to prioritize the right things there. But I don't think it's bad to be interested in politics, study it, and discuss it with people and stuff like that.
So let's go further in that too. Should a Christian, can they run for political office as governor, senator, president? Can Christians do that even?
Yeah, why not? King David wasn't necessarily a spiritual leader. He was more of a political leader. He was chosen by God, so there is that. And he was chosen, Samuel, by a prophet. So it's a little bit different there, because you're not going to have a prophet come in and anoint you to be the governor of your city or something like that in today's world. But I mean, if they feel the calling of the Lord to do so, yeah. So.
All right. Yeah. And my thought on that would be, we want people with the Spirit of Christ in areas of leadership. So for me, just thinking about it from that angle, it makes sense. Do I want someone with the Spirit of Christ in as a governor, senator, things like that? Yeah, because they're going to hopefully they're going to make good decisions there. We all make mistakes and stuff, but hopefully they get wisdom from Christ and do that where they're at.
Yeah.
And so second talk, do you have any more thoughts on that?
Yeah, again, I think it goes back to remembering that you belong to a different kingdom, that you belong to Christ's kingdom.
Hey everyone, so that is actually half of our video on politics. The other half, we talked more about wicked rulers. How do we deal with wicked rulers coming to power? And really, we had about a 2-hour conversation between politics, and then on David's channel, we talk about abortion, the death penalty, war, things like that. And so again, go check out his channel. And in the next week or so, I'll publish the second half of the video that again talks about wicked rulers. But leave your thoughts in the comment section if you have anything, and I will see you in the next video.